Hello, my name is Michael O'Keefe, aka The Movie Wist. If you enjoy this interview and want to hear more top-notch film industry conversations, please press the thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and hit the bell to stay in the know. Hello, Yoav. Before we chat about your documentary, The Prophet and the Space Aliens, may you please tell me how COVID-19 has affected your life?
It was not great because we were supposed to premiere our film and launch it, and we already were supposed to play in a few festivals in Europe, CPH Docs and some other film festivals, and we already had plane tickets and everything, and we were waiting for like a very nice release, and then everything got canceled or postponed or turned into online. So that was very unfortunate after working on a film for so long and having such high expectations. So that sucked, actually.
Yeah, I believe it most definitely would have, but thank you for still providing us with some entertainment, even if it's just digitally.
Yes, for sure.
So
Yeah,
please sorry.
the good side is that you can watch it in your living room. So I
Mhm.
guess, it's not so nice for some people.
There's always an upside. So please
Yeah.
tell my audience what The Prophet and the Space Aliens is all about.
So this documentary follows Rael, a Frenchman who claimed that he met extraterrestrials that appointed him the last prophet. And I got to meet him through like a kind of like a strange circumstances that also allowed me very unique access to someone who has quite bad reputation, very notorious reputation. Um, and it started off as a kind of like me not really knowing what this adventure is going to be like. And then it turned out into a film that talks about Rael, but mostly about this kind of like difference between what is a cult and what religion is, and almost like a case study to learn about religions through this very unique, very bizarre story of the small Raelian sect or religion or movement or whatever you want to call them.
I'm going to call it a cult. But I love how you got involved with this cult. I'm just going to call it. That's just how I view it. Tell us how you got involved in this story.
So one day, out of the blue, I got this invitation by mail from the Raelian movement, telling me that I was chosen to be an honorary priest, an honorary guide of the movement, which I never heard about before. And at first, I thought it was kind of like some kind of like a joke someone was pulling at me. But then I Googled them, and then I got to know a little bit more about them and decided to go and meet Rael. And that's how the film kind of like started to roll.
And who else was given the award?
Quite a few of people. I mean, Madonna was receiving it for her attitude towards sexuality. Um, well, Jimmy Carter for his peace efforts in the Middle East. Michel Houellebecq, the famous French writer. Different type of people. Every year, Rael chooses a few people um, who is kind of like in line or admiring the work. And Rael seen my previous documentaries, which were quite political. And I guess he enjoyed them, and he decided to give me this award. And I think I'm probably like maybe the only one or one of the very few that actually came to receive the award. But sometimes, you have to to take risks and to kind of like follow when adventure knocks on your door. You need to open the door sometimes.
I like it, and it's a very entertaining documentary. We see a lot of wild images and certainly different beliefs. Do you ever, while making it, did you ever fear you were doing sort of a PR job for this guy that might have been taking advantage of you?
Yeah, I mean, it crossed my mind, obviously, but eventually, I'm kind of like, I'm doing my own thing, so I wasn't kind of like very afraid that this is going to be the situation. And actually, it was the kind of like a little bit the opposite because, at first, because I mean, like many people, you think about cults in a very negative way because we're kind of like conditioned to look at cults in a very, cults are bad, cults are there to use you, to
Mm.
manipulate you, to extract money, to use you somehow. Um, and then, when I got to know them, I mean, all these kind of like black and whites started to turn more and more gray. Um, and I like documentaries that challenge the audience, that let them kind of like make up their own minds. And for me, it was a journey of revelation. And so I just look at their story as a kind of like a case study of how religions evolve, because eventually all religions start off as a cult, right? You cannot just like start right away as a religion. You can think about it like as a business model, right? You cannot start right away of being like Walmart. You have to start like small and you become big. You cannot start away of being Microsoft. It took some time to become Microsoft. And I think it's very similar when you think about religions that way. I mean, Christianity, when they started off, not that many people. Every religion, it starts slow, and then if they're lucky, if they're doing things right, like a business with good management, maybe they become bigger. So I'm being an atheist, I have this kind of like, I mean, I don't believe in God, such as
Mm.
this kind of like a guy with a white beard that like fixing everything around the world.
Yeah.
So I had the opportunity also to look at it differently, especially coming up, growing up in Israel, like which is kind of like the ground zero of religions.
Yeah.
And every prophet, or like the big prophets passed through here or were born here. And so this is a place which is heavily influenced by religion, with a lot of like bad stuff also that happened because of religion. So this film was, for me, it was like a great opportunity to kind of like to be able to see what it's like. How does religion start? How does the cult start? So I was involved, kind of like also because of my background.
So, why do you believe Rael is effective at growing this group into maybe one day more of a certified religion? How do you what are the qualities for a good leader within a new sect? What do you believe is necessary to become an effective cult leader?
All right. So I think first of all, charisma is very important. I think you have to kind of like identify what is kind of like what is wrong, what is missing in a certain in the place where you live, where you operate. So I think if you think about Jesus, for example, so there was a lot of corruption. There was a lot of like he recognized that the priests, the Jewish priests, were kind of like. Uh, being on their seats for too long and not really serving the people and being corrupted and all this type of things. We can all think about this scene when he goes into the temple and starts to kind of like get rid of all the people who were like doing money exchange and stuff like that. So obviously there was some kind of like an unease in the political situation. So you need to address that. I think you need to have some good organizational skills to be able to build the structures around you. So it's not just you and 4 or 5 followers, but to be able, like a good maybe businessman, to structure it in a way that it will expand. If your intention is expansion and you want to kind of like reach new territories. So you can think about it like in terms of businesses, so like just think about how a small startup company turns into Microsoft, so maybe it's similar.
All right. How did you get into documentary filmmaking?
I went to film school and I started making documentaries, and I've done it since 2001, so it's almost 20 years now.
Wow, that's fantastic. As an Israeli, do you feel that the industry always expects you to make work about your regional politics?
Yeah, that's a great question, and we are. I mean, I was fortunate enough to make films outside Israel. I mean, I was filming like in many places around the world, but mostly you're expected to make films inside Israel about Israeli issues, about Palestinians, about Orthodox people, about stuff that is happening here. And I'm very fortunate that the people in the that finance the film within the Israeli channel and funds were kind of like open-minded enough to give me this opportunity to to finance a film which has very little to do with Israel or not at all.
Would you ever make a feature film, like a narrative film?
Yeah, actually, I have a couple of scripts that are waiting, and we're like in the process of trying to finance it. And I think it's as difficult as in fiction films as in documentaries. I mean, making films is fun and relatively easy, and the really boring, annoying, tedious part is financing them. So that's the situation. I think all over the world, I guess, unless you're very, I don't know, unless you're Spielberg or something like that.
Right. All right, Yoav, thank you very much for your time. What are your plans for the rest of the year?
Hopefully, the film will kind of like have some physical presence towards the winter, although nobody knows. And I'm already into my next TV series and my next documentary. And so I'm kind of like you always have to be like doing your next things. That's how it works.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye bye.